Welcome to the UN Brief. Today we interview Marco Forgione. He is Director General of the Institute for Export and International Trade. We spoke about the WTO's public forum where they participated and spoke about the gender equality in international trade. We also spoke about the digitalization of customs. Thank you for watching the UN Brief and don't forget to subscribe. You were at the WTO Public Forum just a couple of weeks ago here in Geneva. And you did a presentation addressing the question of gender in international trade. Can you tell us a little bit what was the addressed at that conversation at the WTO in Geneva?
So the Institute of Export and International Trade was delighted to be partnering with the WTO and the International Trade Centres to support the She Trades Initiative, which is a capacity building program in developing and lesser developed countries to support female entrepreneurs. So we brought over a number of entrepreneurs to participate at the public forum, really to showcase the journey that female entrepreneurs have been on, the challenges that they face, very specific, distinct challenges that female entrepreneurs face in international trade, access to finance, access to the supply chain, access to insurance. You know, that there are a number of specific barriers that they face. But the value of helping and supporting female entrepreneurs is much broader than for male-led businesses, because if you have female-led businesses that are economically successful, that transforms that community, the wider family, the family group, and the community. So there are distinct benefits to supporting female entrepreneurs, and so the message we were delivering to the WTO is that there remain issues for female entrepreneurs, access to international trade, and that more needs to be done to build capacity and capability everywhere, but specifically in lesser developed and developing nations.
Yes, another question that has been emerging too in the discussions at the WTO and elsewhere is the question of digitalization of international trade, right? How it can be facilitated, particularly in countries where they don't have a legacy system, would be easier perhaps. And we're thinking about West Africa. Can you tell us a little bit what's happening in that landscape?
So the digitalization of trade is now moving forward at pace, sparked in part by the initiatives led by the WTO. And just actually last week in the UK, the legislation for the digitalization of trade documents was entered into the Houses of Parliament to be passed. So the UK is beginning to move forward and trying to establish the most effective digital first border in the world. So there is a huge amount of activity. But the point you raise, Maya, is a perfect one, because those nations that don't have the legacy system actually have managed to move forward at a greater pace. And that move to mobile first rather than just digital first is giving huge opportunities and potential to enhance international trade. You know, we did a study last year that showed in the UK alone, if you digitalize all the trade documentation, you would add 1% to GDP. And in the UK, that's £25 billion of additional revenue just from digitalizing trade. And by digitalizing it, you're actually speeding it up. If you speed up trade, you reduce waste, delay, you increase profitability. You get greater visibility through digital documentation and sharing of information than exists with the paper-based system, which means that the risk factors are reduced. And if risk is reduced, then the cost of the trade is reduced. Access to finance and access to insurance, particularly, you're able to get that at lower rates of interest because the risk has been removed. So there are huge benefits to digitalization of trade. And we're working in Kenya, particularly at the moment, on a proof of concept to show not just the digitalization of trade, but the development of digital trade corridors between nations and the huge benefits that exist in establishing those routes.
Tell us a little bit about the programs that you have, the training programs that you have in the area. The Institute of Export and International Trade offers several programs for companies, for governments. Tell us a little bit about those programs.
Sure. So the Institute, if I just give a bit of background about the Institute, we are a charity formed in 1935 with the express objective of enhancing international trade. And we do that through a program of professionalization, knowledge sharing, qualifications, as you've mentioned, training, and also direct support and services to help businesses, organizations, and to inform government policy. So we run a series of formal qualifications. We are in the UK Ofqual accredited, and we run right the way through to master's level qualifications in international trade. We then provide public, open, short course training programs, again, all around capacity building, knowledge expansion in international trade. And we've crafted, in partnership with ITC, under the leadership of Pamela Coke-Hamilton, we've crafted a program, a capacity building program specific to Africa, which is currently being delivered in Ghana and Nigeria and Kenya, but we are working on a whole Africa program to support not just trade with third nations outside of Africa, but intra-African trade as well.
Thank you for watching the UN Brief, and don't forget to subscribe.